came up with our mind map of activated charcoal.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So design matrix. Wow, that looks like quite a lot of writing there.
This is our design matrix. Just as example, it's a lot of writing. I know maybe my scribble, you don't understand my scribble. There was not enough pages, so we turn it around also. So there's more that we wrote in there. So yeah, firstly, as we said, it was it is design matrix for 8 hours. Our stakeholders will be EMS staff members and personnel that needs to be updated in terms of the CPG update in terms of the legislation. So our duration for the introduction and our first icebreaker will be 15 minutes. And that will be the method of activities will be the lecturette. And the materials that we're going to use is a PowerPoint presentation, laptops, and then a projector. And then also a game for the icebreaker, Circle of Friends. I just choose it by randomly. Circle of Friends, to just because of the diverse group that starts now with the class. So we just introduce one another, Circle of Friends, and then we play the game so that they can be comfortable with one another. So nothing new to them; they already know what's going on. So next on the item will be another 50 minutes pre-self-assessment test, because they are qualified as scalers in the EFF profession. So we just want to find out where we are with them in terms of what they understand, and then we will go over, and then also it's a pre-self-assessment test or with regards to the charcoal. Then the method of activities will be a case study. And then a patient with overdose, which is also contained, case studies, and then a handout, and so the materials will be handed out in station. That's part of the pre-self-assessment test. So they will get the case study of case study, and they will self-test themselves, and that the material will be handed out in stationery. The next 60 minutes will be the content of learning will be activated charcoal in whatever form now, new form, or whatever the CPG guidelines in terms of legislation will give us. And that will be conformed by a video, pictures, and then also group discussions. That will take 60 minutes. Interaction, cooperative learning in terms of what is new on the market now currently. Then also our material aids will be PowerPoint presentation, laptops, and then projectors with the screen. That will be that, and then we will break for 15-minute tea, and also with the introduction, also the basic rules will be allocated in terms of timekeeping, what's been allowed, what's not allowed, etc. So when the tea break starts at 15 minutes, they know there will be a whistle be blowing for the tea break, and then also the whistle will blow maybe the end for when the tea break is finished. Everybody needs to reassemble in the class, so they know the ground. So then we'll start with another 60 minutes, which will the content of learning will be the legislation part. Where does we derive from the new CPGs? Where does it come from, and why we are changing? So we are on a freezing plane, so now in an unfreezing plane currently now. So that contains of the Health Professional Council Act, the Pharmacy Act, that guides us in terms of the new CPGs. And then also the methods of activities will be the lecturette, will be at least say 15 minutes, and then handouts, and then a quiz that will ask in between, just to keep the occupants or the participants binding to the new legislation. In terms of the course will actually cover the new legislation and what do they learn in terms of the lecturette. And then what we'll have is laptop again, PowerPoint presentation, and also the projection and handouts, and also the document or the material that we will supply is the new CPG guidelines in terms of what they need to have with them all the way throughout the update. After that, we will have maybe a leg stretch, and then we'll start again with another 60-minute simulation scenarios. Firstly, the simulation scenarios will be a demonstrative simulation scenario. It could either be on a video, or the facilitator will demonstrate the stakeholders how we do it in our normal practice. So then group dividends will happen, and then practice by learning, by firstly demonstrate, call up participants to come and do it themselves. So we will introduce that for the next 60 minutes. And what we will have is a method of material aids will be, we will have the room set up will be maybe we will put it, design it in another setup, or we'll use another room for the practical setup. So room, we will have beds or table, or we will have, we will also have a mannequin. We will have equipment that needs to be there when we do the practical sessions or demonstrate the practical sessions to the students. After that, whistle will blow again. Lunchtime will start. It's a 60-minute lunchtime. So that will take an hour for them to process everything that they've learned so far from the morning until now, lunchtime. So whistle will blow, indicating it's lunch. Then another whistle will blow, indicating it's a half hour, it's going into lunch, and another whistle will blow, it's now the lunchtime is finished, you need to return back to the classroom. So when we are coming back, that is where the problem lies, because the stomachs are full and the eyes want to close. So we say now we use another 15 minutes for an icebreaker, and the icebreaker will be, if I wasn't me. So then therefore that we will have give them a game, and how they will the method of activity will be a group participation, and we will have a game with regards to that. That will be for 15 minutes. After the game, we will have a 60 minutes research methodology in terms of the international world, how they apply and use activated charcoal, and where does our CBGs derive from in terms of activated charcoal. And for that, we will have the method of activity of the international styles, and then what we will materials we will have is internet, YouTube clips from, and also clips from books been written with regards to or trials been written with regards to activated charcoal. After that, we have a leg stretch, and then we'll have for 45 minutes. Icebreaker, no, yeah. Oh, sorry, I turned my page. 45 minutes simulation, real events. It's like the lecturer has demonstrated, they've role played. Now we will have real events in the practical room, because it's an activity that we want to see now if the information can be applied in the hands of the students. So it will be, they will be divided in 3 groups. They want a demonstration by facilitator first, and learn by doing, and then that will also have a mannequin equipment time. They will put in a timekeeper as well, because it's real events now. We're dealing with real business, and also the observer or mock observer assessor that will also rate in terms of how the content of the material was carried over to the incumbents, and how they process it. And so it's like in what we say, it's so what now, so what, or what. So in that process, we'll see how it goes that way. So and that we call experimental learning, or something like experimental learning. So then we'll have a 15-minute tea break for that, and then after that we will have a 15-minute icebreaker again, where there is 3 is a crowd, divide the incumbents in a group again, and then play the game, and then ask them afterwards how did they feel about the game, how do they feel about themselves, how do they feel about the whole day or the lectures that we have given them so far. Then after that there will be, and then also then after that there will be 30 minutes where we have evaluations. But this evaluations will not be like I'm going up for the evaluation, next is you. It will be a group evaluation, whereby a group, the teams will go as a unit to do the practical evaluation. So each person in a group will have a responsibility allocated to him or her. So, and all the only thing that person needs to know is what must I do, what is my function in the group to make sure that our group is effective enough, or we can carry over the information that we receive to in an action plan. And then we will also have the game, the mannequin scenarios, and the assessor, where the groups will be scored. And then lastly, we'll have a 15 minutes closer of an engagement with the group of what did we learn for the day, and can we take this and now implement this in the workplace. And then we'll have an interview with them, and then we'll also have like results from the assessor. And then what we will have is the material will be the assessor's outcome, and also the training and evaluation forms, and how the feedback that we want back from the students, so how they experience today. That is our design method. Thank you.
Excellent. You spend a bit more time than what was allocated, but I couldn't stop you. I see you're in a role and you've got a lot to share with us. So yeah, I like the way that it's very interactive. There's quizzes, there's practicals, there's demonstrations. You even have some icebreakers to just energize your team again. I heard that you are using the experiential learning cycle, which is a good thing. And remember the questions, Natasha, as well. You must also listen. It's the what did you experience? So what is, what's the learning that we got from that experience? And then now what? How are we going to apply what we've learned, Nathaniel? Okay, team one, well done. Team two, you can start with your mind map and then your design matrix. Try to keep it short. I know you want to share your fantastic work that you've done, but ultimately you're going to send copies of your work to your team members, and you will include it in your portfolio of evidence as well. So I will ultimately get your design matrix and your mind map that I will assess. Team two, spokesperson for the mind map. Team two is Andrew, Peter, Trevor, and Wiswa.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
just
correct?
see that, sorry, Peter, he's got a power failure, which
Oh,
is our second spokesperson for the matrix. He's got all the writing with him. Do you
okay.
want us to go last and just see maybe
Yes.
reconnect?
Yes.
If that is possible.
Let's do team number 3 then. Natasha, Nathaniel, Philip, and Landy.
Okay, I'll be doing the mind map, and I think this is how my mind map is looking like, or should be looking like, if you can see.
Okay. Okay. We got it.
Yeah, that's artistic, but okay. So our topic is what you do on an incident scene, incident command system. So that's a major incident that we have.
Okay.
So what we from branching from them, our main is the resources that you need to have, the management, the comms or communication, and then the systems itself. Then the subheadings for the resources will be your EMS departments or your medical departments. You will have your fire there, you will have your traffic, you will have the hospital on standby, forensics, and SAPS. Then by management, that will be a joint operational system or center. And with them, you will have various departments or representatives of all the departments in there. Also from there, with your joint, it will be operational management. Like we will call it your bronze command, your gold command, but it's like your structure from up as you go, in the management side. Then your communication, that will be your call centers. And yeah, and then from them, they will decide, go the methane. It's like a report from a scene, what's happening on the scene, and then they will also then refer to the people that needs to know. The system, that comes now from the scene management. From the scene management, you will have your zones, so like sub scenes in on itself, and each scene has a name. So one scene will be your triage area, other scene will be your clearing site, one will be your equipment zone, and the other one will be your loaning zone. So with your triage, that will be more like your medical side where your patients are going to, and they will be triaged there to say how serious and not so serious and not serious at all. That will happen on that side. Then you will get your clearing station, more or less the same there. And then in that too, you will find your medical team as well. They will tell you, will view with the patients itself. Your equipment scene, they will find everything you need to have containing your patients, your medical equipment, hydraulic equipment, or your stretchers, everything that needs to go with for a patient. And then your loading zone, that will be more like a parking area where you park your vehicles, ambulances in a certain way. So the first one will be if you're finished with a patient in your medical area, it will say, okay, ambulance 122, we're ready for 2 patients with you, so you can come to the scene or the area where the medical is. You load your patients in there, and there you go. So the next ambulance after 1 to 2 will move closer, and that will happen like whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I think I'm done.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
right.
Who's the spokesperson for the design matrix?
Yeah, well, no, Landy overpowered me. She pulled the rank card on me. So, yeah,
Okay.
didn't have much of a choice there on that one. I'm
All
going to
right.
do my design matrix, but I'm not going to include the times because we got such little time. Okay, so I'm just going to go through what we've done. We're going to start with an introduction and welcome, then a short video proclaiming some havoc of a real accident scene. Materials, of course, laptop, speakers, and projector. Thereafter, we will have an icebreaker, a game of confusion. The game is called Say What I Say and Do What I Say. And afterwards, you will change it where you say the opposite of what I say and do the opposite of what I say, or say what I do, that type of thing. So that will create some fun and some creation. It's like in everybody, look at me quickly. Saki, look at me. Saki, look at me.
I am.
Touch your chin. Touch your chin. Yeah. Touch your nose. That confusion type of thing, you know? Yeah. That would be your icebreaker. Then we will go into an exercise where everybody will have flip charts and pens. Looking at the scene, everybody must create the roles and the responsibilities of each entity. So you will have everybody break up, and then they must come up with what they think is the roles and the responsibility of each entity. They will come present back to us again. And then we go into scene management. So now that everybody knows what their roles and responsibilities are, they will then go into scene management. And there is where role play will happen. This is where we're going to use some equipment. And then after that, we will have a tea break. After the tea break, we're going to have a bit of reflectorate where we will do a lecturate, a PowerPoint, just to bring everything together, see where we are. And then we will be presenting our systems topic. We will use a desktop exercise and simulation. We're going to have some nice toys, you know, like a toy ambulance, fire engine and stuff like that on a map. And the scene will be created and how all the roles are going to come into play. After the systems, we will have a lunch and then an icebreaker. After that, untie the knot, we call it. We break up into groups. We give each group a rope which is tied into a knot, and they can only use one hand to try and untie the knot. And then the guided discussion. After that, we will do a role play per group, another tea break, a formative assessment, which in the form of a crossword puzzle. We will use handouts and pens, of course. And then the reflection, a lecturate and PowerPoint, and then we will conclude everything with our feedback forms. That's it.
Thank you very much. There is quite a lot of activity. I like the way that you are using simulations, role plays, guided discussions, and crossword puzzles. And then there's also some icebreakers built in between. So I really would love to attend that training. I think it's going to be fun. I think the time will fly, that 8 hours will fly quickly, because I will be busy and learning quite a lot. So that's the way one needs to structure these things, so that you can create that atmosphere and a fun learning. So with both the teams, I'm very happy with that interaction, interactive activities. Now it's team number 2's turn. Team number 2, mind map first and then design matrix. Who's going to do the mind map?
It was supposed to be, what is his name now? Not Solik. Andrew.
Andrew, Peter, Trevor.
Galant was supposed to do the mind map.
Trevor was supposed to do the mind map.
Okay. But would you like to, who would have done the design matrix? So Trevor, can you do the mind map?
No, it was the other way around.
Oh, so Trevor, you're going to do the design matrix.
Yes.
Is there anybody in the team that wants to volunteer? Just a brief description of what will be included in the training. Or Trevor, you can do both if you want to.
I'm not that equipped with the notes.
Okay.
Peter, I thought you took out the notes.
No, it's fine. Trevor, I would suggest you do the design matrix then. It's fine.
Okay. What we have here is occupational health and safety plan, which we will implement it in a company. And for that reason, I was somewhat speak on with the other parts of the mind map as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Where we will have to address certain issues like legislation, site visits, occupational health and safety, safety equipment, and staff needs. So to start the training, we will have an introduction where the program for the day will be explained. For that, we will do it on a PowerPoint, small lecture with a laptop and projector. And that will be the first 10 minutes. After that, we will have for 60 minutes awareness of safety. We will use videos, pictures, and we will also include a guest speaker who can speak to the audience about his personal experience on the job and what advice he could give for some for our audience in terms of health and safety. For that, we will also use the laptop and projector, and we will give some handouts, some booklets where they can refer to when they are challenged with certain situations. Yes, after that, we will have a small tea break for 10 minutes. And then we will come back to class for 70 minutes. We will discuss the theory in terms of the legislation. That will be on a PowerPoint where we will have again the laptop and projector as resources there. And after that, with all the information in mind, we will have the students walk around the premises just to visit the site to see if they can apply all the knowledge they got in the presentation, where they could actually identify hazards in the area, and some have a discussion around that as well as we walk around the premises. And then we will come back to class to discuss the various health and safety reps, the functions of them, and yes, and the importance of these people. That will be for another 60 minutes, and after that we will have a half an hour lunch, and then we'll come back for a review just to recap on what we have learned before lunch, and because that will then be demonstrated in our next sessions where we will start the practicals. So we will first have a demonstration for 50 minutes, a demonstration on all the equipment they will use, like the fire extinguishers, the medical equipment, and how they should maintain all those stuff in order to be ready for any event. After that, we will have for 60 minutes a role play. We will have then a simulation on where they could actually distinguish a fire or help people who are in need, like injured people on the premises. So we will need all the medical equipment which we use in the demonstration. We will apply that knowledge. And yes, that will take us up to 1,500 hours, which bring us to the conclusion of the day, where we will have a question and answer session. And also, we will discuss a plan of action on a flip chart, where all the participants can put some ideas on how we will make this work and how they will adapt to what the new plan would be for that premises. And that is basically more or less it.
Okay, no, great. Great. I also like the way that you are making it interactive. Andrew, unfortunately, we lost you just when you had to do your mind map. So can I just ask you, do you have that? Can you show that to us on your in front of your camera so that we can just see the structure of your mind map?
I will show the piece of my
Okay.
mind.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. All right. No, excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, teams. I think it was a good job done. Just keep in mind that you're also going to need to do a mind map and a design matrix for your 30-minute practical. A mind map and a design matrix for your 30-minute practical. So it is as if you're taking, if you say, let's, I do let's say a 1 day, 2 day or 3 day training course, with this 30 minutes, you're literally taking out a portion of that course and you fitting it into the 30 minutes. So you take a 30-minute chunk out of that course. Very important that you have that 2 interactive training methods. And that's got to be built into your design matrix for that 30 minutes. So you will have something like 5-minute introduction, just as an example. Then we're going to use 10 minutes of a case study. Then we're going to do a icebreaker, or maybe you do an icebreaker earlier, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So you just break everything up, mind map, 30 minutes in totality. And don't forget to build in right at the end a 3-minute or so wrap up, summary, just clarifying with the students whether there's not any questions. So it's really a matter of telling upfront what you're going to tell them. Then you do the activities and get the learning points out of that activities. And then you summarize everything and you refer back to the objectives that you set out. So it's the old story of tell your students what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Except you're not going to do a lot of telling. They're going to learn through activity and acquire the knowledge and the skill by doing these activities and you doing your experiential learning cycle. Right, so thanks for that. You need to just arrange among your team members if you want to share those documents, the mind map and the design matrix for this 8-hour session. So you can literally share the team's documentation with all of you. You can include all the documents of that team, or you can just include your documents. It's as long as there's at least one mind map and one design matrix in your portfolio of evidence for the 8-hour session. Okay, but you can arrange among yourselves how you want to do that. So I would now like to discuss your portfolio of evidence, just to make sure that you understand all of the various aspects and components of that. So if you give me a chance to just open that up.